counsel, is there any daycare that is provided in Stowe without indicating where the daycare is? But if there is daycare for the child, is it in the city of Stowe?
Yes, Your Honor.
And relative to the child's pediatrician, is that in the Stowe area?
The pediatrician is still in North Andover.
Okay.
I stuck with the same one that he started with. He did recognize the fact that it is a bit of a drive to bring the child up in case there was something that did arise. So I have thought about changing closer to Stowe, but he currently is in North Andover with the same pediatrician.
Okay. Anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Do you wish to be heard on that, counsel?
I do, Your Honor. Thank
Okay.
you. I would ask the court if I can have 1 week to brief this issue. I do think it's an interesting issue, as my brother counsel indicated, because the father technically resided when he brought both restraining order and this action in North Andover, as did the child and mother. Mother's residence, as Your Honor probably saw from the filings and the stipulation that was submitted today, that her house is being sold, but where she plans to go upon release from jail would be also in Essex County, and would be where her parents reside. The fact that father made changes to certain bills after he made the filing, I don't think is necessarily indicative of where proper filing is. As my brother indicated, I also don't necessarily have a preference, but I do think it needs to be accurate. And so I would ask if Your Honor would just give me 1 week to flesh out some of these facts so I can understand them a little bit better, because I do think that some of the, on the face, the paperwork says it's Stowe, but even in the memorandum submitted to Your Honor this morning by father, it says that he is in North Andover, or felt that he was in North Andover, wants to carry on in North Andover at some point in the future. So I would want, if
May I
that,
interrupt you for
yes,
one
Judge.
moment? I just thought of a question.
Yes.
Is your client still employed by the same employer that he was at the time of the incident?
He is, Your Honor. He's employed at the time of Andover.
All right. And is he permitted to, if you're able to disclose this, is he permitted to reside in another area and continue his employment at his present employer?
I believe so, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Was there a need to get a special allowance, or would the permission have existed regardless? Like, do you have to work within a certain
Permission
radius?
was granted by the town manager and the chief of the fire department.
Okay.
Since I'm 2.5 miles outside of the 20-mile radius,
Okay.
but permission was granted by both.
Thank you. And you may continue, counsel.
Thank you, Judge. I was just suggesting that if father really does intend to return to North Andover, as his filing this morning suggests, what I wouldn't want to have happen is he sort of transfers it to Middlesex, and then all of a sudden everything comes back to Essex, if you will, Judge. I do think the continuity in a court system for this type of case is important. I also do recognize that, as my brother indicated in the memo this morning, so many other actions are here in Essex County. I don't think that's necessarily defining, but I do think it's important for this court to consider. And so, again, I would ask for a week to brief this and submit that to Your Honor.
All right. And do you wish to comment on that, counsel?
No, Your Honor. It's my sister, and I have no objection to her having an opportunity to brief it. Likewise, I'd like to do probably a more thorough job. This is together very quickly based on common.
Yep. This is what I'm thinking. I think that is a fair request on your part, counsel, that you have an opportunity to exercise your due diligence and brief the matter. So I'm inclined to allow it. What I'm thinking of doing is giving you a period of time, and then giving you a short period of time for a response written. And then I think what I'll do, rather than scheduling another hearing, is just act on it administratively, because I've heard your arguments, I've heard, some of your argument, and understanding that you wish to provide me with something more formal, so to speak. So I believe that that is reasonable. Would either of you be opposed if I then elected to act on the matter administratively and issue my decision at that point?
I would not object to that. Your Honor.
All right.
No objection, Judge.
Very good. So let's take a look at the calendar here. When do you think that you can have the brief in council?
I can have it by next Wednesday, Your Honor.
All right. And that would be the 29th, right?
Yes, Judge.
And what time frame, council, do you believe that you would need the,
A few days, Your Honor. I don't think it would take that long, so. At the court's discretion, a few days would be fine.
so I'm thinking maybe if you could have it in by the 3rd?
That'd be fine, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, because my brother counsel and I have already spoken about this a little bit this morning, we actually might be on the same page after the two of us do more due diligence on this. And if we are, would Your Honor like a joint memorandum of support?
If, I'm happy to accept whatever you wish to do. And the other thing that I'm thinking, I'm just trying to think of a mechanism so that we don't have to have everyone come back in again, because I noted that you had submitted a stipulation. Is that correct?
Yes,
And
that's
without
correct.
going into it substantively, did it address all the issues, or were there certain issues that needed to be addressed?
So our stipulation, Your Honor, that we worked on over the past couple of days addresses all of the issues that
All
are
right.
before the court today on two motions filed by the father.
Okay.
So all the issues before you today are resolved.
And in the event that I was to act in a manner such that this county retained jurisdiction, I'm wondering if council would be comfortable with a written colloquy of the parties, that I could then act upon the matter administratively, or would you want it heard when I actually acted on the motion?
I'm fine with it being written, Judge, but I would have no objection to going forward on the stipulation today. The parties are in full agreement. There were two motions that were submitted on an emergency basis. And then part of that is because of the sale of the house.
And when is that scheduled?
November 7th. Correct, November 7th.
No, I mean, if we're operating on this time frame, that would all, I can meet that time frame. I'm hesitant to take action on something that I may be sending to another, county, so to speak, but I would be able to act on that and meet that deadline, so that you would know what the status was, at least from this court. If it is, in the event that it is transferred to another county, I'm assuming that the purchase and sale agreement probably has an extension clause worked into it, right? So it wouldn't be, most purchase and sale agreements have that,
So
I'm
Judge,
sorry, Judge.
Yeah.
There is no extension clause.
Judge, if I may.
really? Was it stricken? Generally, there's a standard. Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong, but my recollection of purchase and sale agreements is there's usually an ability of the parties to continue it out for a period of time.
Your Honor, if I may, I think my sister sort of hinted at this. Today, we do have an agreement on some temporary orders, that's all they are. And
Right, but if I do that, then what I'm doing is I'm starting to make substantive decisions, and then if it's transferred somewhere else, I'd prefer not to do that. That's how I'd prefer to handle it. Counsel, did you secure any further information?
Your Honor, I'm not real estate counsel, but I'm hearing that it's not a traditional kind of a boilerplate clause that allows the parties to extend. The purchaser has a full advantage on that, and it does create some jeopardy for the seller.
Well, we can try and shorten the time frame. I want to do my best to try and accommodate the circumstances of the parties, but I'm not inclined to start making decisions. So should we try and shorten the time frame?
Sure, Judge. We could say the 28th for mine to be due. It's just, I would, and I know that my brother counsel and I can work collaboratively, but I would need some information from his side in order for me to be able to that properly, because it's all about where his client resided.
Is that something you think you can do today while you're both here?
Sure.
Georgia.
All right, so you want, we'll back it up, and then you can, if you have yours on the 28th, then you can have yours on the, do you want to say the 30th?
That's fine.
I'm not sitting on the 31st, but I can have it out to you, so that at least it would be the beginning of the week.
To be clear, Your Honor, my client wouldn't, however the court decides this,
Yeah.
whether the case is in Essex County, Middlesex County, we would not be objecting to either way. We would abide by whatever the court decided as a jurisdiction. I don't think it's an issue that, I think it's an issue that definitely can be resolved.
Have the two of you discussed it at all?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. And you provided me with what your thoughts are relative to venue, apart from any research that you want to do.
Correct. Correct. I do think, as I indicated, that if, father resided in North Andover at the time these were filed, even though the filings say something different, I think it's really about finding out that fact, which is very important. And also where, my client is residing in Essex County, and it sounds like father is inclined to return to Essex County.
That's where the information that I was provided relative to changing his license, changing his voter registration, those were in some of the issues that I wanted to understand before I made my decision. Let's try and do that. And if you get it in as early as you get it in, you can be in contact with my judicial case manager, and I'll do my best to address that as promptly as possible.
You actually email those to?
It would be helpful always to, send them to the registry, but given the urgency of the matter, I'm happy to have them sent to my assistant judicial case manager so that I can have them immediately, because it does take a little bit of time for the paperwork to go from point A to point B. So why don't we leave it that way, all right? And I'll do my best to accommodate you and get that out to you as soon as possible.
Thank you, Judge. There's two other housekeeping matters. And
Yep.
again, given what Your Honor just indicated about the rulings, we had filed an answer counterclaim and had sent it to motion to accept that filing late. I was going to ask Your Honor if you would enter it as an allowed motion, but I'm not sure how Your Honor feels given the venue issue.
Do you wish to be heard on that?
Your Honor, my sister filed a motion to file late answer. I've sent it to it. I have no objection to that. I'd also want to add, Judge, the court had referenced it very briefly relative to the stipulation in a written colloquy in anticipation of what the court may decide. May I suggest that we do submit written colloquy to you?
I'm happy to take that so that we don't have to find a time that everyone, I am hearing no objection relative to the issue of the late answer. I'm happy to allow that because I don't necessarily, I'm not concerned about that, so I will allow that. The other issue, you're going to give me your memo on the 28th or sooner. If you get it to me, sooner, just make sure that we know, that my assistant judicial case manager knows. The same for you. The earlier you get it in, the earlier I'll act on it and get it out to you administratively. All right?
Fine, Your Honor, thank you.
Very good. And I think that we're set because the only other date that we would have is the restraining order date.
Yeah, this case is actually set, Your Honor, for a pretrial conference on May 1st.
Okay, great. Very good. That concludes the matter for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hold for 1 second. My assistant judicial case manager may be out the beginning of the week, so I just want to make sure that we have you send it to the person that can get it. I'm going to have you send it to Attorney Haddon, our judicial case manager, and then she'll get it to me. All right?
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. That concludes the matter for today. Thank you.